Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. It's a big day for us here, and I'll talk about the signing class. What we would like to do is I'm going to go general on the signing class, and we have some of the members of the press here. I'll answer some questions on that, and then I'm actually going to turn it over to Coach Carr, and we're going to move the screen here and actually show you some clips of all the players, and he'll talk more in depth about all the players. It's kind of what we wanted to do in terms of doing this. I do want to apologize for one thing. My wife's been saying how you can situate the tables where nobody has to turn their back and everybody can see the podium, you know, the way we normally set them up. So anyway, she and Coach Lambert's doing this is nice, but when we set them up yesterday, I'm going to blame it on a couple of our assistant coaches, but there's nowhere to walk in. So anyway, I didn't, the way we got this thing set up here, I don't know how you're supposed to get in here, but once you're sitting down, it is nice, isn't it? But anyway, I do apologize for that. We were looking at that earlier, the coaches here, and so Coach Nagavi's job is to flag everybody to come on around here. So, but anyway, it's a big day for us. We're very, very excited to get this group of young men. We were able to sign 17 guys today, and we'll talk about them more in depth. Before we move forward, I do have some thank yous in the recruiting process. First, for the meal today, I want to thank Subway and Steve and Connie McGee for bringing the lunch today. Thank you, guys. I think Steve was here. There's several people that I really want to thank that help us tremendously in the recruiting process. Waterfront Restaurant, Mr. Sam Weems, Catfish Cabin, Russell and David Hearn for years have helped. Field House in Crawfish City, which of course ULM alum Joey Trappe owns both of those. I want to thank Airmark, our food services here, Thomas Veridimides. They do a fantastic job. The food is obviously very, very important. I want to thank the Hampton Suites. This Janie Russ, we were able to put all of our players' families up at the Hampton Suites right there by Sam's, and they do a fantastic job. Campus recruiting staff here at ULM. If you don't know how recruiting works, you know, we're pretty much already on 2020 kids, and we're looking at that. But throughout the course of the year, whether it's junior day, which last year, I want to say we had between 300 and 400 kids here, right, for junior day. And then all throughout the course of the year, young men and their families come here for unofficial visits. So when they do, we have to have somebody from recruiting services that starts it, and they take them on the campus tour. Then they have to give them to us. So this is a year-round job for them as well. And obviously they're recruiting for the campus and not just for athletics. But they do a fantastic job, and Sammy Owens is the director, and we can't thank them enough. I want to thank our director of recruiting, Cole Dowell, who's done a fantastic job since we've been here recruiting. Coach Carr started this year, was his first year as a recruiting coordinator, and he did a fantastic job as well. All the stuff that you see, John Lewandowski, Eric Elliott, Jeremy Sisk, all the stuff that you see periodically, and our presence on social media and all that, we really appreciate that. So there's a lot that goes into it. I know I'm leaving people out, but it's a year-long process, and we certainly appreciate what all these people are doing. We signed 17 guys. 12 of them are high school guys. 5 of them are junior college guys that we feel like can come in, and they're going to come in immediately, and we think they can help us immediately at some things that we're doing. And but just generally speaking, looking at it, we signed 3 defensive tackles. Again, Edward Harrelson is actually a transfer from Jones Junior College, and he'll be enrolling here in January. Seth Mason and Kevin Pointer are also 2 defensive tackles, which we're really excited about. Ivan White is a defensive end from Hines that's 6'2", and we think he's going to come in here and help us immediately. He's also enrolling here in January. Xavier Curry is a linebacker from Meridian, Mississippi that we think fits the mold of what we have here, can really run and sideline to sideline. We signed 3 cornerbacks. All of them are high school guys. We're really excited. Tavier Williams is from Manny. Of course, those guys had a really good year this year. Chancellor Hitchens is from Baton Rouge, and Kevin Wiggins is from Klein Collins. And the theme kind of there is height. And if you look at them, 2 of them are legit 6'2" guys, and the other one's a legit 6-foot guy. And we wanted, you know, now the game today, all the 50-50 balls, it helps if you have a little height. And, you know, anyway, I feel bad for, you know, with my height, recruiting kids that have height. But look, it's just, you just have to have it and stuff. So DeMarcus Jones is a safety from Fort Worth, who we think is a really good player, is going to help us out. And then we feel very, very fortunate to get Kilo Sweeney, who is a defensive back. He's a young man that's played corner. He's played safety, but he went to East Mississippi, and they just won the national championship again at East Mississippi, so he's a 2-year starter and an all-conference player and one of the highest rated defensive backs in the state of Mississippi, and has 2 national championships in the last 2 years. But we feel like that he can come in and, if you've watched us play through the years, that kind of hybrid position, the guy that plays down, we call a buck safety, but also has to be able to play guys man-to-man. So you have to have man-to-man skills, plus you have to have that physical presence and stuff. So we think he's really going to come in and fit that well. So we have 10 guys on defense, and pretty much that's what we can sign. So we feel like we've signed about everybody on defense. And I'm going to continue to say that because, our numbers and what we project is based off of today. But if you followed the landscape of college football, it's become easier, and easier to transfer. So you think you know exactly what you have today, and, who knows about this afternoon or tomorrow. But that's, what we can go by is what we have now, and what we've been told is coming back. And that's what the numbers. So anyway, I'm making that general comment, and then hopefully we don't, but if we turn around and the next go around, well, I thought Matt said that we were done on defense. Well, we're done today, okay? So anyway, let's put it that way. And hopefully we are. On the offensive line, we signed 3 guys. Victor Cutler's from West Monroe, who we think is going to be a fantastic football player. Of course, they just went to the state finals. And then we signed 2 young men, Evan Henry and Chance Billington. Evan is from DeSoto, one of the better programs in Texas. And Chance is from John Tyler, who went 4 rounds deep in the Texas playoffs. So we're really excited about those guys. We signed 2 tailbacks in Caden Roach and Zach Martin. These are 2 guys that we have been on for pretty much a year. Now, when you look at it, we offered them early last spring and been recruiting them, and they're both bigger guys that we think are really going to fit in good with what we do. We're happy to get Donovan Hickman come in. He's a transfer, and he'll be here in January to come in here and help us out at tight end. And then we're really excited about Elijah Walker. He's a young man that signed 2 years ago with the school down the road with Louisiana Tech, and then left, and we were able to get him back. But we really worked very, very hard to get Elijah a couple weeks ago. He's from Amite, Louisiana, and we're really excited for him to come in, and we think he fits exactly what we do offensively. So that's a general, of the class. And like I said, Coach Carr will go more in depth on each player as we show the film. And we have like 3 clips of each player that you'll get an opportunity just to kind of see what they're doing. But that's a general overview, and we're extremely excited. We signed 7 guys on offense. We think we have room for a couple more, possibly in some spots on offense, and we'll look at that. I get asked the question all the time. I absolutely love the 2 signing days. It's really good for us. It enables us to, we have 17 guys. We're able to get those guys in. We'll redo the board this afternoon in the morning, put some other guys up in some other positions that we think, that we're interested in recruiting again. And, looking at, because there is another signing day, which is February 1st, I think, the first Wednesday in February, which is actually the second signing day, which is the old National Signing Day. So we will look at some positions that we think we need to, and then we'll possibly sign a few more guys in February, where we're able to pretty much bank these guys, so to speak. And, we have these guys, and then focus on a couple other positions and get to work whenever we get back. You can start back recruiting. The middle of January, you have 2 or 3 weeks to recruit, and we'll actually predominantly be recruiting 2020 kids and being able to get a head start on those kids. And so, anyway, I get asked that all the time. I like it, personally. And Sean and I know Nick, we had some conversations about this a couple years ago. I didn't know necessarily how it was going to work out at the time, kind of looking at it, but I think it's really benefited us in terms of what we're doing. So, any questions?
Yeah, Coach, you look at the numbers, the guys you bring in, a little lighter than the past couple of years. Is that a sign of just the improved depth overall in this program and how you guys have plugged away in recruiting, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're Nick, Adam, you and I have had this conversation in terms of and looking at it realistically. I didn't know if it would take us 3 years, 4 years to rebuild the roster back to where we had 85 guys on the roster. And we were fortunate enough to do it where we have 85 guys now on the roster. I think our roster is healthy. We talked about it at the last quarterback club meeting when I went kind of through the roster, what I call a healthy roster. If you look at it, I mean, we have going to have a really good senior class this year, a junior class, and then you go down the list, and we feel like we have guys in all classes moving forward. This year, with our senior class this year, now we're able to sign these guys, but in the last couple of years, Adam, we could, you can sign 25 guys, and I mean, we were obviously going to sign all 25 because we were still trying to get to the 85 number, but we're there. So we're basically now just recruiting back when we were at the previous school I was, where you lose guys and then you recruit guys. So it's taken us 3 years to do it. Well, really 2 years, because we got it in the third year. We got back to being a full roster, and so anyway, I'm really excited about that because we were able to get it done a little faster than I thought.
Is there still a walk-on program?
Oh, yes, sir, absolutely. Yes, sir. And we'll get, we're going to get to work on that too. There are rules of, of how many contacts you can have with walk-ons and stuff, but we'll get on that. What I'm saying, but we're able to, the good thing about this is we're able to get guys and to sign guys, and then as you go through the process in January, then, you can start identifying some guys that may not sign.
Is there a limit on how many walk-ons you can get?
Not really, no, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Coach, you mentioned Manny, West Monroe, DeSoto, Allen, even East Mississippi Community College. These are winning pedigrees. How important is it to recruit guys from programs like this?
I think it's very important. I've always thought it was extremely important. It's been really something that we've looked at since I got here, and I always think it's important, Sean, but when you're trying to build a program, I think it's extremely important to get guys in from winning programs that kind of understand the process of what's going on, and if you're going to try to, I hate to kind of use that word because everybody uses it or whatever, but I'll use it anyway, to change the culture, so to speak. It certainly helps when you bring in guys from winning cultures already. That helps you out. And so, anyway, we've certainly tried to do that.
Specifically with West Monroe, then, I think it's been about 5 years since ULM signed a guy out of high school from there. How important is it for you to get somebody from over there and really get that pipeline going?
Oh, it's very important. Obviously, it's one of the better programs in the state of Louisiana. It's one of the better programs in the South, period. And we were very, very fortunate to be able to get on Victor and recruit Victor and start a really good relationship with his family last junior day is really when it started, and we're excited to get him. But I mean, anytime you can take local kids, and anytime that you can take certainly kids coming from winning programs helps you.
Looking at it, just the numbers wise, defensive tackle, how big a priority was it to get some guys in here at that position?
Well, it's one of the areas that we lost at when you look at it with D Ford and with Tyler Johnson, and so it's one of the areas that we were looking at going. Also, we felt like, looking from a number standpoint, you look. The first thing is you look short term and then you look long term. And short term wise, we felt like we needed somebody that could come in now to give us that, from a number standpoint, and then plus we were able to get a couple guys, for the future that obviously can help us in the fall. But I'm talking about coming in January. So. When you look at that sense, tight end position, we have 3 guys coming back. We really, as the year went on, we talked about that at the last quarterback club meeting. I tried not to say it every week because I didn't want necessarily people to know that we weren't going to play 2 tight end personnels, but there were games that we only had 1 that could even play. And I never said that in the deal because I didn't want a team to know. But if you look at it, I remember the Coastal Carolina game, Josh Peterson's the only tight end that could play. Period. And then you look as the season went on, we would have 1 and then 1 maybe, and then Sloan Spiller got hurt, then he came back, then Tyler Lamb was out, and it just became so, being able to get Donovan coming in here, that gives us 4, healthy tight ends going into that. So we thought we needed some help immediately in that. So again, that's just kind of what way we do it. What do we need short term, and then what do we need long term, and then try to build it.
Looking at the size, height, weight, I was telling coaches it looks like we're recruiting better kids. As we've won more games and you guys have changed the culture, do those conversations, easier is probably not a good word, but are you seeing people more interested in coming here now because of the change in culture and the change in atmosphere? I
think we've had a lot of interest in coming here. We always try to recruit the very best players we can, and that hasn't changed. But, man, we've had great responses all over from people. And, I think this, and of course we've been into that. I think there's so many great things this university has to offer. And, now we're able to pretty much to say, too, hey, we can compete in this league any Saturday. We feel like we can. You know, we can line up and play with anybody in this league and stuff. So, you know, that's certainly been a help too, Chris, to be able to, you know, it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to show it. Like I said, this university is fantastic. They can come see that. ULM has traditionally, and I have nothing to do with it, has done a fantastic job of recruiting student athletes. I mean, you go back any year before I was here, and ULM was doing a fantastic job of doing that. So it's a great campus. It's a great place to live. You know, thanks to a lot of people in here, to all of you. It's a great community to live in. And, I mean, so there were so many good things. We just needed to show that, hey, we have an you know, you can come here and win too. And so that certainly helped. But, you know, we think that we're getting great responses. If you look at our junior day, if you look at both of our camps, goes a lot to, you know, a lot with the hard work our coaches, our assistant coaches are doing too. But we're getting really, really good participation and all this stuff. We had really good unofficial visits this year for our home games. And probably one of the biggest ones we've had, which I think helped, was Georgia Southern. You know, it was coming off of open week, and, man, we had a whole bunch of players unofficially come, and helped that we played pretty good too, you know, so we were kind of excited about that. But I don't know, about 5 or 6 of them on that list that were here, you know, so that was good. Yes, sir.
You know, you talked about how we can line up and play against anybody now in the Sun Belt Conference. How do you look at the Sun Belt Conference now compared to when you got here?
I've been impressed really since day one when you look at it, and you know, this year was another really good year when you look at it, and it just so happens that it was a really, really good year, probably in a sense that, you know, in any other year we would have got a bowl bid, but it just so happened that there were 6 teams this year rather than 5, you know, and we went into all that. We could have did this and this, so that's our fault. But my point is, that's how good a year it was, in a sense. The other thing I looked at too, that I've the last couple of years and looked at it, is this year we had more wins coming out of non-conference in the Sun Belt than we have in previous years. And to me, that's where you look at it, because it was pivotal for us to come out 2-2, which we did. But if you look down at everybody else, you know, Georgia Southern came out of it 3-1, App came out of it 3-1, Troy came out of it 3-1. So that's what I kind of looked at too, because then when you progress forward, is how can you come out of non-conference? Because when you get into conference, as it was proven this year with Appalachian State or Georgia Southern, whatever, man, it's hard to run the table. You're going to lose games because so many of them are so close. So I thought this year was probably as good a year. I don't know about better than the previous years, because I went by the non-conference schedules and looked at them and how everybody came out of non-conference. And it was pretty impressive. And, you know, congratulations to them. But was certainly impressed with Georgia Southern. And then, wow, how about App the other night at that bowl game? Woo. No, you kind of look at that, and you know, but if you remember, y'all remember that last year we beat them, and they turned around 3 or 4 weeks later, and I mean, who was that, Toledo? I mean, just wow, 30-something to nothing, you know. And I'm watching, hey, we beat them, you know, a few weeks ago, but so tough league, and so I've been impressed with it, because you know, it's a very, very talented league, and I've been really impressed with the coaching in the league. Really, really good coaches. I mean, everybody's well coached and stuff, so we've been impressed. We have as a staff.